tell you what, today's really flown by. Maybe it's because we've got a really fun guest in studio with us. Former Bucks and Gators receiver Reidel Anthony. And we were just talking during the commercial break about working out and staying in shape. And I'll tell you what, you look great and you look like you're in great shape and you take care of your body. A lot of guys that play in the league, when they're done playing, they don't necessarily do that. And you can see their health decline and everything. So, what's been key to you staying healthy? Is it just the fact that you are active, the fact that you're out there coaching all the time?
Being active and coaching, being on my feet a lot. And, I guess good genes, because my mom, she's 55, and she's in great shape. Besides being sick maybe a year and a half ago, she was up to 12 miles biking and 5 miles running every morning, something that I would never try to do even at my age right now. So she's a workout fanatic, and she's in great shape.
And is she one of the reasons why you got into football? Because you told me before as well that she ran track.
Yes. She was pretty fast in high school. Throughout her career, she only lost pretty much to one person, Chandra Cheeseburger, who went on to the Olympics straight out of high school. And then, my mom went off to college, but then I came along, so she had to sacrifice a little bit for me. But growing up, she was a challenge, because everywhere I go, everywhere we would go, family reunions and stuff, until I got in the 8th grade, she could outrun me.
I was just going to say, she's pretty active now, so if we had the two of you guys lining up and a 40-yard dash, who would win?
Oh, right now, I beat her to death.
Oh, you'd beat her?
Oh, yeah, and I wouldn't take no pity. I would beat her, yes.
So making up for lost time, huh?
Oh, definitely.
Can she run routes, though?
No, she was a straight line.
She's a straight. All right, so that's a little different there because, of course, in the NFL, it's not just about having that straight line speed. You got to be able to run routes.
Yes, I mean she's not small. Mom's like 5'9", and like I say, growing up, it was a battle between me and her, every other day, and especially when I had my friends around, they could not outrun me. So she was like, "Well, I'll race you." And she used to beat up on me. But then, I got a little faster, a little older, and worked out a little bit. So then I started beating up on her.
So she gets a lot of credit then for getting you to where you are today, huh?
Oh, yes. Her and my uncles. I mean, between her, on that side of the family, my mom's side of the family, like I say, my uncle played in the NFL. My other uncles, they ran sub 10-1, 10-2 in it was a 100-yard dash back then. So, 10-1, 10-2, which is equivalent to maybe, 10-4, 10-5. And all of my uncles were 6'2", close to 200 pounds. So they were pretty big and fast.
Yeah, it sounds like they all could have, played in the NFL today. Now you get these big guys, and that's the thing that amazes me. You get these big guys out there, and they're getting faster and faster, these big men, and that's such a tough matchup, against these cornerbacks that just can't contend on the outside, but also, too, on the inside, too. You get the smaller receivers, and, they're just as fast as ever.
Yes. The game has changed. They're creating a lot of mismatches. The smaller guys, like you say, there's not a lot of small guys playing outside in the NFL right now, and they're putting them in the slot. And they're putting the bigger, more under control, but still can run and stretch the field guys outside. Or back when I played, it should be the small guys outside and the bigger guys in the middle. So, it's a cycle that's going around. Because back in the 70s, they had bigger receivers, smaller receivers inside. So, it just goes round and round, and you just have to adjust your game to it and your game plan and pretty much your offense.
And, speaking of that, the Bucks have really focused a lot of their efforts in the draft on getting, some receiving talent. And, of course, they've got Jameis Winston as well, too. They've got Mike Evans and Vincent Jackson on the outside. And then they've added to that, of course, with Kalen Clay a real speedy guy, a kick returner. And then they've got Kenny Bell. I'm really interested to see how he factors into the offense because he's a guy that can line up on the outside. He's got that speed to really stretch the field. And they don't really have that right now. So I'm curious to see how he does. And also, too, you don't normally talk about this when you're looking at receiver prospects, but I don't know if you saw, he had this one block that was just outstanding downfield. That's something that we don't talk enough about when it comes to these receiver prospects, but it's important.
Oh, it's definitely important. And, blocking is all will. No matter how much a coach work blocking drills, if you don't want to do it, you're not going to do it. And it's a will thing. And, that guy, he definitely gets after the DBs and takes pride in blocking and allowing his running backs to get, more yardage as they come down the field. But like you say, the wide receiver group for the Bucs, Winston came into a great situation. You have Evans out there 6'6", Vincent out there 6'6". The tight end, he's 6'7".
Austin Seferian-Jenkins, yeah.
Yeah,
He played at one point in college at, I want to say 267 or 270, 276.
Yeah, he was a big dude.
He was enormous, and I know that he's since has dropped his weight a little bit. But I remember in camp last year, I mean, he had like two linebackers draped on him in camp, and they just didn't stand a chance against that guy. If he can improve his ability, I feel like is in terms of being a better run blocker.
Yes,
he's gonna be really, really tough.
Yeah, and the Bucs going to create a lot of matchup problems with all of those big guys because in college, you may have 1.5 good defensive back. In NFL, now you're up to maybe 2.5. Now you have 3 guys out there 6'7". You're not going to have 3 6'7" cornerbacks. And Jameis Winston cannot go wrong. If he throw the ball over their head 8 feet, they still have a wingspan to go up and get it. So his situation is great for the talent around him outside. And the only thing he has to do, just get it near those guys and let them make the plays. Because at the end of the game, the stats, on TV, they're going to talk about he was 21 for 25 for 330 yards. They don't mention the receivers that much unless they score 3 touchdowns.
Well, and two, I think a lot of people harp on the fact that, again, he threw those interceptions. And at the same time, I feel like he had to try and force things because he didn't have that big target in Kelvin Benjamin. And so suddenly it's, okay, he's having to force things a little bit. And, that's why you saw some of those mistakes. But now he's got those 2 big targets. And
ask Matthew Stafford about Calvin Johnson.
Oh, man.
6'6", 250. A lot of throws he make are not the best throws in the world, but you have a frame out there like that, it can really make up for a lot of mistakes you make. And like you go back to Winston in college, Kelvin Benjamin, another Belgrade product. The guy's 6'6", 240 and run like a deer. When it all boils down, he always found a way to just get it near him, and you don't have any guys that can match up with him.
Who in the league right now, since we're talking about receivers in the league, who in the league right now, receiver-wise, is a favorite of yours? Are you allowed to pick favorites? I know you train a lot of them.
Yeah, not really. I always like the Brandon Marshall. He's
another big physical guy on the outside.
And competes. He just gets the job done. Brandon Marshall. I always liked him.
Well, that's he's tough too. And again, the Bucs have really tried to kind of model what they're doing. And again, they've got a new offense with Dirk Cutter, but they've tried to model what they're doing in a way after, some of the traits that they had in Chicago with Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall. Yep. But, speaking of Cutter, what are your thoughts on the Bucs getting him as an offensive coordinator? You've had a chance, watching Bucs games against the Falcons. It seems like they snagged themselves a real good guy there.
Oh, yeah. They definitely got a guy that can change things around here. And go back to receivers. Ryder White.
Julio Jones.
Julio Jones, and guess who was in the middle? Gonzalez. So 1, 2, 3. If, like you said, if the tight end Jenkins can come into his own just a little bit this year, and Vincent and Mike continue to do their thing outside, Winston could put up some great numbers this year.
Well, and definitely, and also too, aside from that, I mean, you look at even like Harry Douglas and the fact that Devin Hester, which of course you can appreciate his abilities, being that you were a kick returner too, unbelievable star there at that position. The fact that they were able to get him involved in the offense in Atlanta, I thought was big, because before in Chicago, you saw him as that special teams ace, but there wasn't anything else. They got him involved in the offense there, and you saw the damage that he was able to do.
Yes, and I'm thinking the Bell draft pick is who they're thinking of, Devin Hester. Get us great field position and design 8 plays a game just to get it in his hands. Because if he gets a crease, he's the type of guy that can go 80. And the one thing, what makes any offensive coordinator successful in quarterback, if I can throw the ball 5 yards to my right or left and that guy takes 80 yards, it's a one play, 80 yards, touchdown. But if you have to go 80 yards consistently, 8-9 plays, the chance of you doing that are slim to none. So you have to have the game breakers, the guys that can go 80, go 70. If you got to drive and continue to grind every drive, you're not going to put a lot of points on the board. So they can find a way to get Bell the ball. Since he's a game breaker, it'll change the whole dynamic of the offense.
Well, definitely. And we'll start opening up the phone lines now in case anybody wants to call in. 877-355-1040 is our number. 877-355-1040 is our number. We've got former Bucks and Gators receiver Reidel Anthony in studio with us right now. We've got one more segment. I know time is totally flying by, or I should say flown by. Can't talk today. Time has totally flown by today, but we definitely appreciate you joining us. So one more segment to go. You can also hit us up on Twitter. We'll make sure we do that as well. That's Sports Talk FLA. Sports Talk FLA is our Twitter handle. You can also hit me up directly, Jenna, LAINE BUCS. You also hit Reidel up on Twitter as well, REIDEL Anthony 15. That's on Twitter. We'll be right back.